We welcome into the arena our women's vault finalists. And our men's pommel horse finalists. Women's vault from Japan, it's Ishioku Kohane. Representing Uzbekistan, the one, the only Oksana Chusovitina. From Germany, you hear that home crowd, it's Karina Schoenmaier. Authorised neutral athlete, Lyudmila Roshchina. From Italy, it's Emma Fioravanti. Representing Israel, Lihi Raz. Individual neutral athlete, Anna Kalmykova. And representing Slovenia, Teja Belak. In our men's pommel horse final, representing Armenia, Manukian Catrian. From Italy, Gabriele Taretta. Representing Kazakhstan, Zainola Idrisov. From Israel, it's Indig. From Armenia, Hamlet Manukian. From Kazakhstan, Nariman Kurbanov. And from Canada just then, I think they've switched orders, that was Aidan Lee. And next to him was Kazakhstan's Nariman Kurbanov. And that is USA's Brandon Dang. Here's the start list for the men's pommel horse final. This is a stacked final. Anything can happen on the pommel horse, and we have a truly world-class lineup. Here is the start list for the women's vault final at the Cottbus 2026 World Cup. First four gymnasts will now have their touch warm up. And then the action will be underway, starting with the men's pommel horse. Women in the vault final will be performing 2 vaults. The vaults have to be from 2 different families, which means the entry onto the vault must be different. And the pommel horse, such an intense apparatus. You can see coaches there adjusting the width of the handles. The smallest of margins can make a difference on the pommel horse. High pressure apparatus, comparative to the balance beam in women's gymnastics. The balance beam may be more obviously difficult because of the width. But I think it's got similar error margins on the pommel horse. in that if you lose your rhythm or you're slightly off balance or slightly crooked, then you may have a mistake or a fall on that pommel horse. Germany's Karina Schoenmaier getting cheered on for her warm-up vaults. A really supportive home crowd for her here in Cottbus. I must say, as an ex-gymnast myself, I did always enjoy competing in Germany. The crowds were always on your side, supportive, really involved in the action. And you can see that here today. They have created an amazing atmosphere in Cottbus. The warm-up is over. First up in this pommel horse final, representing Armenia, it's Manukian, Catrian. Working well here on the single handle. Up to the handstand, cleanly through. So quick. Got a really good rhythm going. Accurate hand positions, manages to complete the pirouette so cleanly through. He has truly set the bar right there. 18 years old, qualified in second place. He was second on pommel horse at the European Champions, second at the 2023 Junior World Championships, both times behind his teammate Manukian, who is in this final. But it was Catrian who beat him in qualifications. But they were both behind Italy's Gabriele Taretta, so that just shows you how much talent is in this final, and Manukian has definitely set the bar. I think that routine was a reflection of how many routines he does in training. He looked cool, calm and collected. There wasn't a second of doubt as a viewer. Let's see what the judges thought. He scored 14.966 in qualifications, a huge score. Just 0.044 behind, 3.4 behind Gabriele Taretta, who scored a huge 15 in qualifications. 14.966, exactly the same as qualifications. A massive score. He's certainly put pressure on the rest of the field. And just 18 years old. Our first gymnast on women's vault represents Japan. It's Ishioku Kohane. cleanly through her first vault. Chooses the half-on entry. Ishioku qualified in third place with a score of 13.433, and that score is an average of her 2 vaults. Just a hop-on landing, but lots of power. Sprints up to that vault, and it's that round-off style entry for those new to the sport. So now she'll be looking to do a different entry for her second vault. And a new rule for the 2025 to 2028 cycle is a 0.2 bonus if a gymnast does 1 forward salto and 1 backward salto for each vault. So both vaults must be done without a fall in order to reap the benefit of that 0.2 bonus. But when it comes to a World Cup final, you do expect to see a lot of those gymnasts going for that bonus. So we've seen a backward somersault. If this is a forward one, then she would receive the bonus. And the score for her first vault, 13.566. You can see there the execution 8.766 and the difficulty 4.8. Those scores are added up to get that 13.566. She prepares for her second vault. It's Ishioku Kohane of Japan. This time at the Yurchenko entry, so the round off onto the springboard, the flick onto the vault, and a lovely full twist in the air. So it was another backward salto, so she wouldn't receive that 0.2 bonus, but it was another entry onto the vault, so she covers her bases of 2 different families of vaults. Good form in the air, a slight bend at the hips perhaps. Let's take another look. Round off onto the vault, maybe slightly far back on the springboard, but unlikely that that would be a deduction. Just the hop on landing and the form in the air. A good start to this vault final. Ishioku is a Paris 2024 Olympian. She also competed at the World University Games last year in Germany, and she was second on vault, as well as receiving a silver medal on the floor. Will this be another medal once again in Germany for Ishioku? And there's her score, 13.333. That's her average of both vaults. It was 13.1 for that second vault, and just 0.1 down on her qualification score. Very consistent work from Ishioku. We move back to the pommel horse and to our top qualifier, Italy's Gabriele Taretta. Beautiful line. Judges looking for that straight hip position that he's demonstrating. Great work there on the one arm. Pushes up to handstand. Controls it. Even has time to show off for a second there. Absolutely effortless from Gabriele Taretta. He had, as I mentioned, a huge 15 in qualifications. An amazing score. And it's 14.966 to beat, so he does need to pretty much get into the 15s again to take the lead. He was third on the pommel horse at the 2025 European Championships at just 19 years old. A bright future on this apparatus, for sure. Just works so effortlessly, making all these difficult skills and hand positions look easy. It's so subtle, and that's the difference between an average pommel worker and a world-class pommel worker like Taretta. Can he break into the 15s again? And he does it! 15 again. Consistency, 9.1 in execution, 5.9 difficulty. Incredible work. Now, the woman, the myth, the legend, Oksana Chusovitina, 50 years of age. Yep, you heard me right, 50, and still competing at a world level in gymnastics. Absolutely unheard of. She's incredible. Representing Uzbekistan, Oksana Chusovitina. Full twisting souk for her first vault. Really nice shape in the air. She qualified in 7th place with 13.133, but she does tend to do easier vaults in qualification and then sometimes upgrades for the final. And if there's anything this woman is lacking, it certainly isn't experience. She has competed at 8 Olympic Games. She's the only gymnast to have ever competed in 8 Olympic Games, and one of only 2 female gymnasts to compete at the Olympics under 3 different national teams. The unified team in 1992, Uzbekistan in 1996, 2000, 2004, 2016 and 2020, and Germany in 2008 and 2012. She is one of the 18 Olympians and one of the 6 female Olympians to participate in 8 different Olympics. And I think to do that in gymnastics is just a whole nother level of difficult. It's notoriously a young sport, but she is defying the odds. It's 13.033 for her first vault. She prepares for her second vault. So Oksana will receive the bonus for doing a somersault forwards and a somersault backwards, as that was a front somersault in her second vault. And look at that crowd, they just love her. Obviously she's represented Germany and she's just a legend. Anyone that has any respect for this sport has respect for Oksana Chusovitina. There's that handspring front on with a 1.5 twist. She's got 5 skills in the coda points: the handspring pike front with a full twist on vault, and the handspring straight front with the 1.5. And then 3 other skills, 2 on bars and 1 on floor. Honestly, the biography of this woman is lengthy. And it is amazing to see her still here competing at this level. She has announced her retirement many times, but perhaps she wants to make the record of how many times someone can compete at the Olympics, and I don't blame her. What a legend and an inspiration to all of us. 13.333 is the score to beat, and it's 12.999 as her average for both vaults. That puts her into second place at the moment. Next up on the pommel horse, representing Kazakhstan, Zeynola Idrisov. This camera angle shows just how difficult it is to keep your momentum and your hand placement accurate on the pommel horse. Working well on the one handle and into the dismount. Great work there from Zeynola. Cleanly through those travelling elements. He was 6th on the pommel horse at last year's World Championships and picked up a medal in 2023 at the Junior World Championships in 2nd place there. The strength and flexibility required in the wrists for pommel horse. We're seeing a really high level of execution in this pommel horse final. Straight hips, straight legs, precision, smoothness, continuity in every single routine we've seen so far. And we've seen clean dismounts. The skill before the dismount is upgraded if they successfully perform the pirouette. That's 14.833, a great score, but in this final that puts them into 3rd place because it is such a high level. Up next, representing Germany on the vault, it's Karina Schoenmaier. Double twisting Yuchenko there, hop on landing, but an easy vault it looked like for Karina.
Wir hatten zuletzt noch darüber gesprochen und sie sagt jetzt über die Wiederholung, die sie jetzt alle mit den Yuchenko-Doppelschrauben hatte im Wettkampf. Das fühlt sich an mittlerweile wie eine Schraube, also da kommt richtig Selbstbewusstsein mit rein. Die Ausführung ist wirklich top, die Höhe ist top und sie kann sich viel mehr
Good form in the air.
Das ist wirklich gut. Und sie stand auch letztes Jahr im
Yuchenko double twist is out of a 5. Difficulty score.
Europameisterin und unter den besten 8 der Welt. Wahnsinn.
The crowd absolutely behind her every step of the way. Karina was part of the mixed team that took the gold last year at the European Championships. That was the first time the mixed team had been a part of the European Championships. And it was again in front of a home crowd. And she did not disappoint. It's 13.9 for her first vault. She qualified in first place with 13.733. And she's also the 2025 European Vault Champion. A little short on the landing there, but she's successfully through both her vaults. So this is the round off onto the springboard, the half turn. Slightly undercooked on the half turn. That would likely be a deduction from the judges. Let's see how it looks from this angle. If you look at her hand placement, it wasn't quite parallel with the vault, which meant it was more of a quarter or somewhere between a quarter and a half turn onto the vault, but managed to complete the vault with just a step forward on landing. She picked up a couple of medals last year at World Challenge Cups on vault. Second on vault in Paris and also in Varna, Bulgaria. It was 13.733. Average of both vaults, qualifications for that top spot. She's looking at between 0.3 and 0.5, I'd expect, for that step forward on landing. And it's 13.3. She receives that bonus. Two different somersaults, one forward, one backwards, and it's 13.8, which puts her into the top spot. And it's higher than her qualification score, so certainly the score to beat. Next up on the pommel horse, representing Israel, Indig. Good rhythm through the circles. Moves on to one handle. Travelling down the pommel horse. Pushes up to handstand. Such a shame, just that error there on that final skill and into the dismount. The crowd supporting him. There we go. Shows us just how it's supposed to be done. In a professional way, just like he's trained to do, but unfortunately under the pressure, and as I mentioned, the small margins for error, he wasn't able to pull that off first time round. So we had a mistake during that pirouetted dismount, which means the value of the skill handstand would be rewarded, but he wouldn't get the upgrade for the dismount, which is perhaps why he repeated it. But he will still receive a deduction of a whole mark for that fall. So there you go, just pushes through, and then his hand placement was off. So you can see the frustration in his face. He qualified in 7th place with 14.366, a good score there. Unlikely to reach the 14s today. But last year he qualified in 9th place, so just missed out on the final. So great to see him in the final. Last year in Hungary he qualified in 1st place in the Pommel horse final and came 8th in the final. So I think he just needs a bit more practice under pressure in these World Cup finals. He's gaining value experience, and there's his score, 12.966 respectively. Back over to our women's vault final, and it's Lyudmila Roshchina, individual neutral athlete, up next. The double twist Yuchenko, the same vault that we saw from Karina Schoenmaier.
Ja, Maria, es ist natürlich große Ehre, mal einen Nachsprung zu kommentieren.
Ja, gerne. Also, ja, sehen wir Yuchenko gestreckte Doppeldrehung.
Crossed legs in the air will be a deduction, and staggered feet on landing, as well as the chest being down, all things the judges will deduct for. None of them will be huge deductions, but adding them all up together, it could make the score a bit lower than perhaps we saw from Karina.
Gibt es eigentlich große Unterschiede zwischen Sprung bei Männern und Frauen? Oder was sind die Unterschiede?
Naja, bei den Frauen wirst du selten sehen, einen Überschlag Doppelseite.
Lyudmila qualified in 6th place with a score of 13.3,
Einfach mehr Physis braucht.
the average of her 2 vaults.
Jetzt mal so pauschalisieren. Ansonsten ist da eigentlich nicht viel Unterschied. Also technisch nehmen die sich nichts jetzt, was zum Beispiel Rundlandsprünge betrifft oder auch mit der alten Drehung, wie wir Karina Schoenmaier vorhin gesehen. Ausnahmen steht ja natürlich die Regel mit Simon Biles, die dann auch Doppelsprünge macht. Klar, kennen wir alle, aber das Gros ist dann eher so.
She was 11th all around at the 2025 World Championships. The score for her first vault is 13.533.
Im ersten Stufen mit Roshchina und damit gleich den Bundesliga für den zweiten Stufen.
So full twisting Tsukahara for her second vault. So another backward somersault. So won't receive that 0.2 bonus, but very well performed. She's gone for good execution there.
Auch ein wirklich sehr schönes Schwung, dann zweiter Schwung. Wir sehen hier
That's the half on
Position bedeutet,
into the full twist.
sie hat eine
Better form in the air than her first vault.
keine quasi mit dem Gesicht zum Tisch. Es macht die Schraube ein wenig einfacher.
This time in slow motion you can see she didn't cross her legs in the air.
Schwieriger Schwung, den sie auch hier mit Bravour meistert.
She was 3rd on vault at the 2025 Veronian Cup. And a good all-around gymnast. She was 2nd all-around at the 2025 Russian Championships. 13.1 for her second vault and 13.316 average, putting her into third place so far. We now have our 4 gymnasts in the second half of the pommel horse and vault finals warming up. Here are the rankings so far in our pommel horse final. In that top spot is Italy's Gabriel Taretta with a huge 15. In second place, Manukian Catrian, 14.966. And in third place so far, Zainola Idrisov with 14.833. And over to women's vault. The scores so far: in first place, Germany's Karina Schoenmaier with 13.8. In second place, Japan's Ishioku with 13.333. And in third place, neutral athlete Roshchina with 13.316. Here's the start list. Well, there was the start list for the pommel horse. We've got 4 athletes left to go on the pommel horse. Our final 4 athletes are preparing to compete. And here's the start list for the vault. Our final 4 athletes warming up as we speak.
Ja, und wir schauen, wenn Sie aufs Podium kämpfen, dann schauen wir zuerst Richtung Fiat und da geht an den Start Manukian für Armenien.
The first 4 gymnasts watching on, seeing if they can hold on to their positions, and we are ready to go. From Armenia, it's Hamlet Manukian. Beautiful form, keeping those ankles and toes locked together. Working with lots of speed and amplitude. Just an error there on the dismount. So accurate throughout the routine. You can see the disappointment on his face. An unfortunate error there from the 2025 European pommel horse champion. He was certainly a medal contender in this final. So accurate throughout this routine. Every single hand placement spot on until that final dismount pirouette. Great hip line, super straight as his legs come round.
Hier auch er mit der Wendenummer um 360 Grad innerlich bewegt hat.
And just here, just didn't quite manage to complete the pirouette. Such a shame. And that will make a difference to his score. He qualified in third place, 14.866.
Und das drückt
He was
natürlich
fourth on Pommel horse at last year's World Championships.
insgesamt wird es dann schon schwer.
World champion at the Junior Worlds in 2023 and the European champion last year. So plenty of accolades, but with that error, unfortunately, unlikely to take the top spot here today. But a super bright future ahead for the 18-year-old. Just wasn't able to complete the pirouette there. So hard to get that close to the end of your routine, and a superb routine up to that point. Frustrating. Still manages to score in the 14s, 14.166. So 7/10 lower than his qualification, unfortunately. Back over to the women and our vault final. Representing Italy, it's Emma Fioravanti. Handspring front in the straight position. Here she goes again. The handspring entrance. Really great shape throughout that vault. Absolutely no doubt that that was a straight position. Judges wanting to have no doubts about those positions, otherwise they will downgrade to a pike. But that was over straight. We saw a slight arch. Really impressive body shape in the air. Powerful work from Emma. Just 16 years of age. Italy doing so well in the sport. Emma was 5th on floor at the 2025 World Championships. So the young gymnast already making world finals, and here she is in a vault final at a World Cup. That anxious wait for the judges. Doing your mental preparations and physical preparations. Perhaps trying to visualize what's to come. Here's another look at her first vault. Just a hop on the landing. She's looking at 0.1 to 0.3 deductions for that landing, but lands right in the middle on that central line. Tiny bit of form error in the air. Leg separation perhaps. And there's her score. 8.9 in execution and a score of 13.3 for her first vault.
Den ersten Sprung von Emma und macht sich auch schon wieder bereit für den zweiten Sprung.
And ready for her second vault, Italy's Emma Fioravanti. This time backward salto, so she will receive 0.2 bonus. That bonus can make all the difference in where you end up. That half one entry, full twist in the air, slight pike in the hips, which she probably didn't need to do, as it seemed to lead to those steps back on landing, which will also be deductible. But sometimes you can't judge exactly where you are until you hit the ground. But she's on her feet. 2 successful vaults from the young gymnast in this World Cup vault final. A great start to her international competitions in 2026.
Vielen Dank. Die geht es gleich für mich zurück. Dankeschön.
Italy, force to be reckoned with in women's gymnastics at the moment. And these young seniors like Emma adding to the already talented Italian team. And here's her score, it's 13.233, which puts her into 4th place. Next to compete on the pommel horse represents Canada, and it's Aidan Lee. Good work. Works well on the single handle. Keeps his rhythm going nicely. Great form throughout so far. Pushes up to handstand pirouettes and a glimmer of doubt, but manages to reconcile it. And he seems pleased with that one. Aidan qualified in equal 4th place with 14.7, which is his personal best score. He is a graduate student who attended the University of California, Berkeley. He studied mechanical engineering. And he's the two-time Canadian pommel horse champion, back-to-back in 2024 and 2025, as well as being the NCAA pommel horse runner-up in 2025 and two-time All-American on the apparatus. We're seeing lots of pommel horse specialists emerge, and this apparatus is getting more and more exciting, this quad. It will be interesting to see where we are towards the end of the year at the World Championships and who will be fighting for those top spots. Aidan credits NCAA gymnastics as improving his ability as a gymnast and teaching him how to compete. And there's his score, 14.566, puts him into 4th place, which is where he qualified, and he also seems happy with that. Next on vault, representing Israel, it's Lihi Raz. She opens with a full twisting Yuchenko, cleanly performed. Full twisting Yuchenko has a difficulty score of 4.2. For those new to the sport, execution is scored out of 10 and difficulty is built up by the skills performed in a routine, or in this case in a vault. So in theory, with a 4.2 difficulty score, she is being judged out of 14.2. So that's the maximum score she could achieve. Although, if you are new to the sport, it's unheard of to achieve a perfect score in elite gymnastics. Lihi qualified in 8th place with 13.05. It's a 13 for her first vault there. 8.8 in execution. For her second vault, it's Israel's Lihi Raz. Unfortunately, she does land short and put her hands down, which will be a fall and a whole marks deduction. These World Cups, they offer a route to the World Championships. They also offer these gymnasts invaluable international experience. Lihi Raz has experience. She's a two-time Olympian representing Israel at the 2020 and 2024 Olympic Games. But you can never have too much experience. It's the start of the gymnastics season. It's only up from here, as I'm sure she knows.
Wir sehen ja auch in den Endwerten 12, 3, 8, 3, dann nochmal das ganze Sitz. Und hier wechseln wir umgekehrt zu Kurbanov aus Taretta.
Up next on the pommel horse, representing Kazakhstan, Nariman Kurbanov. Common theme throughout this pommel horse final is the clean lines and world-class execution. Cleanly through his routine there. He's pleased with that one. He qualified in equal fourth place of 14.7. To get into the medals so far, he needs higher than 14.833. And he is no stranger to medals. Kurbanov is a silver Olympic medalist, achieving this silver medal at the Paris 2024 Olympics. And he has plenty of World Cup pommel horse medals to his name. Those ankles locked together to make a pommel horse final at a World Cup. This is the level of excellence and execution that is required. Leading the way so far is Italy's Gabriele Taretta with a huge 15. And it's 14.933 for Kurbanov, which puts him into third place. Excellent work. Increases his qualification score by 0.233. And we are back over to the vault with neutral athlete Anna Kalmykova. Cleanly through her first vault. A handspring front salto with 1.5 twists. A petite gymnast, but has lots and lots of power. Great work. Pushes super strong, legs glued together in the air, and just the smallest movement on landing. Showing great power. Her chest was slightly down, but a clean landing other than that. Gymnasts often choosing to wear some sort of wrist protection or wrist support on the vault. What Anna's wearing there are often called panda paws, just help give the wrists a bit of support. And there's the score for her first vault, 14.033. Very strong score and start to her vault final. Ready for her second vault, neutral athlete Anna Kalmykova. twisting Yuchenko there, fights for that stuck landing. Might have to check the slow-mo before I decide whether I'd give it if I was a judge. She qualified in second place with a score of 13.549. And she's put in a good bid here today. Round off onto the springboard, flick onto the vault, and the full twist in the air. Oh, in slow-mo, there's the tiniest of movements from that left foot. But I feel like I'd give that a stick. Unfortunately, the women don't get the stick bonus like the men, but it's still a fun way to look at gymnastics. A stuck landing equals minimal deductions, and that's always a bonus in my eyes. She was 6th on vault at the 2025 World Championships and 1st on vault at the 2025 Russian Championships. So certainly making her mark as a vaulter. And she's only 17 years old. A young gymnast in the senior competitions. There's sure to be lots of vault finals in her future, and it's 13.816. That puts her into the top spot so far, with just one gymnast left to go. And we move back to the pommel horse, and our final competitor represents the United States. It's Brandon Dang. Slight loss of execution there, the leg form, but he manages to maintain control of the routine. Again, just putting us on edge with the leg separations. Manages to make it through to the dismount. He did well to keep the routine going there. Pommel horse specialist and member of the 2025 World Championship team for the USA. He's definitely looking to gain more and more experience on the international stage, and it's great to see him here in the World Cup final, where he qualified in 8th place with 14.333. As I've mentioned in most of the routines, we've seen a hugely high level of execution, and I would say this one wasn't quite as well executed as some of the previous routines, but he did a great job to maintain his composure in those moments and complete the routine successfully all the way through to that dismount, where he did stick the landing, but pommel horse is the only apparatus for men where there's no stick bonus. His coach looking a bit camera shy. It's a huge 15 in first place and a 14.933 to get into the medals. Brandon's in his junior year at the University of Illinois, so he's balancing competitions both in the NCAA and internationally. We're seeing more and more of this throughout men's and women's gymnastics. He was first on the pommel horse at last year's Apparatus World Cup in Baku. And today he's 6th. It's 14.433, 0.1 improvement on qualifications, and a 2-place improvement from 8th to 6th. So good work there from Brandon, and we are back over to the vault and our final gymnast. Representing Slovenia, it's Teja Belak. Handspring with the full twist. Judges will be looking to decide if that was in the straight position or the pike position. Straight off the top, but slightly piked around the hips in the air. So it's up to the judges to decide whether they would give that as a straight or a pike. Handspring straight front fall is out of 5, whereas the pike would be out of slightly less. So we'll see when her score comes up, what the D score is.
Ja, mit 2 Metern kann man ordentlich springen, das kann ich bestätigen.
An experienced gymnast, 31 years old. Teja's competed at 7 World Championships. And last year at the Cottbus World Cup, she actually was the vault champion with Oksana Chusovitina, who we've seen in 3rd place, who are both mothers. So that was a special moment to have 2 mothers on the podium at a World Cup. And the difficulty there is 4.4, so judges gave that pike, but 13.1 for her first vault. Competing her second vault on Slovenia, Teja Belak. One and a half twist to Yuchenko for her second vault. She's done that vault for many years now and performs it with ease. In first place at the moment, the top score is 13.816. Here's that Yuchenko we've seen from a few gymnasts today. Round off onto the springboard, flick onto the vault. And this time we saw 1.5 twists in the air from Teja Belak. One and a half is a blind landing, so can be a difficult one to land well, but she only had minor steps on landing, so shouldn't be huge deductions. Mother of 2 and still competing internationally at the world level. Truly inspirational. And there's her score. She's happy. She's in the top 3 with a score of 13.516. Another World Cup medal to add to her ever-growing collection. There are the results for the Pommel horse final here at the Cottbus World Cup. And here are the vault results at the 2026 Cottbus World Gymnastics World Cup. third place, representing Slovenia, it's Belak. In second place, hear the crowd roar, it's Germany's Schoenmaier. And in first place, it's neutral athlete Kalmykova. A fantastic vault final. 3 very worthy medalists. And the young Kalmykova, just 17 years old, taking her first World Cup medal, and it's gold. That was a specially commissioned instrumental anthem for our individual neutral athletes. And here are your vault medalists here at the Cottbus 2026 World Gymnastics World Cup. We welcome back into the arena our men's pommel horse medalists. In third place, representing Kazakhstan, Kurbanov. In second place, representing Armenia, Manukian, Catrian. And in first place, the World Cup champion on the pommel horse, Italy's Taretta. Nariman, 28 years old, showing what experience can do for you. And amongst two young gymnasts, 18 and 19 years old, Manukian and Gabriel, demonstrating the pressure they're putting on those experienced gymnasts. The pommel horse becoming a really exciting apparatus for this quad. And there are your pommel horse medalists at the 2026 Cottbus World Gymnastics World Cup. In first place, Gabriella Taretta of Italy. In second place, Armenia's Manukian, Catrian. And in third place, from Kazakhstan, Nariman Kurbanov.